Well, guys, welcome back. I've missed you. I think I had a hard-earned off day yesterday, but definitely didn't feel at home without talking to you. I just want to give a shout out to all the people who've been watching, making me feel like this is worth something. Don't know how I'd do without you. You'll see my coffee mug here says "Work, sleep, work, death," and that's pretty much all it's been for me during this quarantine. I do have a couple announcements, or one announcement to make. It has been requested by some of the voting gallery that the final four, the last video that I get blackout drunk for, and that's a promise I think I can make to the fans. I'll probably need Laura to come in and coherently reveal the winners, but yeah, that's something I think I can make happen. To my right, you'll see who's back. Barry Beers seems to have accosted one of our production interns. He might not be here tomorrow at this rate. What we're doing today is not revealing, but just showing you what the round of 32 matchups will look like for the first half, and then tomorrow will be the second half. A little bit different format. I've brought in 3 experts via satellite to discuss some of the more intricate matchups, just to give that next level of expertise and what we can expect to see in the voting. So if you see some editing issues, it's just because it's a new format, and hopefully I'll get used to it eventually. So without further ado, the round of 32 matchups, part 1. Today we will be revealing or talking about the Pa Rap of the Rapper region and 2% milk. Once again, still don't know if that's actually 2% milk. It looks pretty thick. First matchup on the docket today, the number 1 seed defeating jeans that fit almost perfectly in the first round, the Hot Cheetos, versus the number 33 seed Little Rascals, who defeated Hangnails 9-1, which I think we all agree should have been a 10-0 victory. This matchup's interesting. Really not an easy way to. It is not easy to put these two on the same piece of paper, though, in terms of how to compare them. A little fun fact about Hot Cheetos: they were invented by a janitor at I don't even know if it's Frito-Lay, maybe it's just Cheetos, and they immediately promoted him to some kind of director of food development. I'm not going to speak ill will of this janitor. I'm sure he had a great idea, but can you imagine if every time you had a good idea at your job, they promoted you immediately to the board? I don't think that's a great way to run the business. Little Rascals, I thought it was a okay movie, but we'll see how the voting turns out on that one. The next matchup is the number 48 seed defeating, I believe, the Sacramento Mayor, Darrell Steinberg. I'm doing this from memory, actually, which I probably should have just had printed out in front of me, but we've already started filming. Sporkle, the trivia website, versus number 49, Procrastination. Procrastination, as we remember, was our only 10-0 victory of the first round. I believe Sporkle won 8-2. To talk about this one, we brought in Chris Ebers, our Sporkle procrastination expert, to break down this intricate and interesting interrelated matchup. It's not easy to separate these two. Chris, if you don't mind, please take it away.
Hey everyone, I just want to say thanks, Pat, for giving me this platform here to talk about one of these matchups coming up in round 3, Procrastination versus Sporkle. When the brackets came out last week, I think we all knew this matchup was coming. Both of them through round 2 had a pretty easy ride, going 10-0 and 8-2 respectively. So both of these teams really kind of pack a punch here, and they got some weight behind it. Gun to my head, I think I gotta go Procrastination. I think it's just too broad. I think everyone has their own definition and what they do while procrastinating, so this really appeals to everyone. But I do want to kind of point out a couple things that Sporkle's got going for it and may just make this a game. So first, in and of itself, Sporkle is procrastination. I don't have the numbers here in front of me, but I would say about 85 to 90% of all games that Sporkle played are actually played by college students who should be either studying for an exam or completing an assignment, but instead are procrastinating and on Sporkle. So, if procrastination appeals to you, Sporkle may just also by default appeal to you. In addition to that, it's also got that trivia aspect to it. So, everyone loves a good Quizzo night. Bars do it right because they combine trivia, beer, and wings. Sporkle, they do it right as well, too. They combine trivia, whatever topic you like, and procrastination. So, really, it's a proven formula of success that Sporkle follows. So I think that's what really kind of gives it its weight behind it. So like I said, gun to my head, got to go Procrastination, but I'm excited to see these two duke it out. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Chris, for that keen insight. Definitely brought up some good points about how difficult it is to separate these two, as I mentioned during the lead-in. I also thought it was mentioned that Chris brought up both wings and beer. I think that's just a testament to the fact that everyone is looking forward to in this second round, the matchup between IPAs and boneless wings. I mean, that's really on anyone's mind. Two powerhouses coming together. But thanks again, Chris. Appreciate you joining the program. Next matchup we're going to talk about here is number 25 seed, just an absolute dominant performance in the first round, Sundresses, who took out another favorite, Your Liver, 7-3. Same model that we've been using throughout, versus the number 57 seed, How I Met Your Mother. The sitcom that ran from 2005 to 2014. Now, what's that? Sorry, I'm getting something in my ear here. There's apparently been a leak from the How I Met Your Mother camp that should really sway the voting here. Now, do we have the clip? We have the clip? We can roll the clip? Okay, we're gonna roll the clip here.
New York, Ted. A sad day indeed. Do you know what I saw on my way in here? A girl in a sweater. And you know what that means? The season of exposed skin is over. Exactly. Gone are the tank tops, Ted. Gone are the cute little skirts. Gone are the sundresses. The sundresses, Ted. I don't think I can make it another 8 months with no sundresses.
Barney, I have to read these papers.
I'm sorry, I'll let you work. But first a riddle. What piece of women's attire most stokes a man's desire?
That's sundress.
Correct. What lightweight outfit, pink or white, makes the front of my slacks abnormally tight?
I really have to get this done.
Of course, of course. Sundress, by the way. Hey. What are you nervous about? Tell me. What flowing cotton? Okay.
Wow, folks. I mean, I don't know if you could find evidence any more damning than that coming out of the star player, Barney Stinson, for the How I Met Your Mother team. Really the only consistent character on that show throughout. To hear him say something like that is I don't know how they're going to overcome that. Already battling uphill against Sundresses. Next matchup today will be number 41 seed Chicago, Illinois versus the number 56 seed Nunchucks. Now, Chicago, Illinois won in a tiebreaker vote. As we know, they stole the woman of Dave's heart. A woman of Dave's heart now resides within Chicago. I think you can see her if you zoom in closely around this tree area. I think it's where she lives in this building here. Versus number 56 seed Nunchucks. I myself was personally disappointed that Skipping Stones did not advance here. Skipping Stones to me is something that we've always done. Everyone has tried to skip a stone before. I'd be shocked if anybody in the voter pool has ever held nunchucks before, let alone used them for any proper use besides imagining themselves as Michelangelo. For me, this is an easy one for Chicago, Illinois. It's a great city. And that's one of the best skyline views I could think of right there. Next matchup, moving on to the 2% milk region, is number 4 seed that defeated, a little bit shockingly, soundly, was Adjectives, or Off-Season Rumors. And they'll be up against here, number 29 seed Claymation, another winner of a tiebreaker. During Bobby's eloquent defense of Claymation, he did bring up the famous 2009 movie, The Fantastic Mr. Fox. One of my favorite movies of all time. Stars George Clooney. If you haven't seen it, would recommend it. I think that'll play a factor in this round against Adjectives. I think people are a little tired of Adjectives. You can only do so much with them. And I really think Bobby's way in here will have an impact. But we will see in the voting. Next matchup, number 13, Matter. Again, that's anything that has mass that takes up space in the entire universe. Versus number 20 seed Stadium Hot Dogs. New round, new picture of a hot dog. Added a little relish and onions on there. Now I myself have a lot to say here, but I thought it would be best to bring in our resident wild card, Vinny Galano. Vinny, you mind taking over for me here?
Hi everyone, Vinny here to provide a breakdown of the matchup between Stadium Hot Dogs and Matter. Everyone I've spoken to says, well, Matter makes up everything, right? Screw you guys. Yes, it does. But Stadium Hot Dogs are going to be the clear-cut winner of this one, and I'm here to tell you why. Let's take an example. Life is all about taking shit for granted. You get in an airplane, you don't worry about the physics of it. You just try to avoid any fat people in the hopes they don't sit next to you, and you wait for the waitress lady to come around with the booze cart. Let's take another example. Beer. What goes into beer? Water, hops, and some other shit? Well, let's take a closer look. Water? Water's gross. You ever try to eat a hop? Probably not. It would probably be pretty disgusting. But you put it all together, you cook it up for a bit, and what do you have? Beer, obviously, and everybody likes beer. The point I'm trying to make here is nobody cares about what goes into things, they just care what the final product is, which is why people just want to enjoy a stadium hot dog with an ice cold beer watching a game. Any game at this point. It could be women's soccer. I'm bored as hell over here. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is stadium hot dogs are the clear-cut winner of this matchup. I'm just glad I'm not breaking down IPAs versus boneless wings. It's a real chicken or the egg conundrum. All that being said, I'm pretty sure the network won't allow me back on after this segment, so I want to say good luck to all the teams that are still out there, and keep an eye out for the Meerkat Cinderella story in the coming days. Pat, back to you in the studio.
Well, Vinny, that is quite some facial hair you're sporting there. I appreciate you kicking it back over to me. Interesting takes throughout. Some of them definitely misguided, I would say. It's not the network stance that water is gross. I'm not even sure how we really got on that tangent, but nevertheless, it does sound like Vinny really does see hot dogs advancing here. I think he's just sick and tired of Matter, especially considering the fact that he voted for, I believe, dry heaving over Matter in the first round. So maybe he wasn't the most unbiased expert we could have brought in to discuss. Next matchup, number 37, Glitter, the winner of the pillow fight between them and Jimmy Fallon, versus number 60, Sex with the Lights On. Now, Glitter is in my mom's Final Four, so I personally wouldn't hate to see them pull this one out, but I've actually brought in Sexpert, that's a portmanteau of the word sex and expert, Ryan Faraday, to weigh in. Ryan, take it away.
Thanks, Pat. This is a matchup of one team that's just happy to be here and Sex with the Lights On. After losing the miserable 10 conference tournament to the Hangnails, Glitter was inexplicably seeded 37th overall, leading to a favorable matchup against the insufferable Jimmy Fallon in the first round. Man, you'll love to hate that guy. Glitter enters the second round playing with house money, a huge underdog playing with nothing to lose. Unfortunately for Glitter, even its A game may not be enough to take down Sex, regardless of the quality of lighting. Frankly, I think Sex in a tanning booth with ultraviolet lights would be too much for Glitter. I'm expecting our pool of voters to deliver a resounding 10-0 victory for Sex with the Lights On. In terms of the ceiling for Sex with the Lights On, they've got to be intently watching the out-of-town scoreboard and hoping the band R.E.M. can knock off organized crime, which is undeniably cool and likely to make a deep run given the Italian-American voting base. Okay. We're going to cut that in production, I think. Ultimately, it's been a good year for Sex with the Lights On program, and they'll look to build on this year's exit from the Sweet 16 as they hit the recruiting trail. I'm Ryan Faraday. This is TBB Hall of Fame News. Pat, back to you.
Thanks, Ryan. Another interesting mustache. I don't think you knew probably that Vinny was going to have that mustache, or else you probably would have shaved your mustache before doing that. But appreciate the weigh-in nonetheless. I have to agree with you there, though. There's just no way Glitter can defeat Sex in any capacity, as you said. Next matchup. We are going in the wrong direction. Just when me and the graphics team are starting to get along, they go and pull something like that. I believe this is the final matchup that we're going to go through today. Is number 21 Organized Crime versus Al Capone. funnily enough, arrested in Chicago. Could be a matchup we see later on. Versus the band REM. I personally like organized crime here. I think it's very key that we call out the fact that it's organized. I just feel like me and a lot of the demographic that we have watching here, I'm never going to be a victim of organized crime. Disorganized crime, sure. Random, could be at anybody. I feel like organized crime and I kind of see eye to eye on a lot of things. I don't think we really cross paths in any way. And if we did, I feel like I'd be on the right side of the crime, wrong side of the law, which is fine by me. But that is it. We'll have to somehow get Barry Beers here separated from... I don't even know the intern's name. I'm a little too big time to learn everyone on the set's name. But yeah, thanks for listening, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.